warm welcome to a pod full of ex-Saints. There's two of us ex-Saints. One's Lee Wood over there. Evening, Lee.
David, how are you, my friend? Are you okay?
I'm okay. I can't afford a hat like you two, but I'm okay, thank you. You look well.
I'll do what I can, mate.
And we've got one plus one. That's Jake Ellacott over there, who's also got a hat. It looks like a leprechaun, but there you go. Hello, Jake.
Good evening, everyone. I hope we're all safe and well.
Oh, Jacob. Oh, mate.
It's
That's
wonderful,
not a good look
isn't
for you,
it?
buddy.
You can see why I don't get him to fashion the shirts or anything, can't you?
Deary me.
We've got some football to talk about.
Stop
We've got
it.
one game to review. FA Trophy, third round. Sutton United down Clarence Park last Saturday. Only one of us trio was allowed to go to a game as usual. That'll be the smiling leprechaun himself. Go on, Jake. What did you make of it?
Well, it was a struggle in the end. I thought it was a well-deserved victory for Sutton, and I thought you saw that little bit of clash between the National League and the National League South. It was a strong team from Sutton, and it sort of went as I expected in the end. You saw they enjoyed a lot of the game. I mean, the Saints looked quite positive in spells, and the Sutton United manager was quite complimentary about us after the end, and I saw that some Sutton fans were actually as well. So I think we can take a lot of heart from that. But, you know, at the end of the day, we put up a good fight. But, you know, Sutton were the deserved victors. And I think we can take a lot from going toe-to-toe against a side that is training full-time, you know, and I think we learnt a lot from it. And we saw where we are heading in the right direction. Because I think last season we would have lost that 4-5-0. So there's definite positives from it.
Oh, what we learnt? You said we learnt something from it.
I think we learned that we have progressed a lot. We learned that we've got a strong side there. It's just in the end we didn't create chances. And this season at times we've been clinical with our chances, whereas on Saturday we didn't really have any to take. So I know Zane hit the outside of the post, but you know there was just that slight difference between the two leagues. But still, you know, I can't complain about the result.
Do you agree with all of that, Lee?
To an extent, I would have to sort of say that I think we struggled to get our key players on the ball early enough in the first half. We had one or sort of two chances, but on the whole, I think they were probably good value for the win. I think 2-0 probably flattered them a little bit. But am I missing something? I mean, I thought I saw an obvious penalty on Sean Jeffers. I mean, he got fouled, he got bundled over in the box, and the referee sort of gave it just outside. If you look at the replays again, surely, I mean, I don't know whether I've been drinking even more than normal, but surely they looked as though the foul was happened inside the box.
Lee has dropped out.
Sorry about that.
He's
if
back
we've got
here.
genuine aspiration, I mean, if we've got genuine aspirations of getting promoted, this is the sort of task we're going to come up against on a regular basis. You know, they've hit us on the counter attack twice, and they've scored sort of twice. Alafu's come on. He's been the game changer, hasn't he? You know, his pace terrorised us. But on the whole, I think we've given a good account of ourselves. Second half, in particular, I think we've got some good passing routines together. But again, our shortcomings shone sort of through really. But they were good value. But I don't think we should be embarrassed by the fact that we went out to a better quality opposition at the end of the day.
I totally agree. So not disagree. I totally agree.
As a surprise,
and were the better side. There's no two ways about it. I don't agree with it. It was breakaways that they scored from that won them the game because they had 4 shots on target. We didn't have a single one, and they had a dozen shots. We only had 4 in the whole game, and that includes one from Zane from a tight angle when he hit the outside of the post. I thought Sutton were a superior side throughout. But as you say, Lee, in that second half, we did come more into it. And for a while, you thought maybe it is going to be our day. But, of course, they got those 2 late goals. But the main difference, really, was our old boy, Harry Buterman. He could have had a couple of hat-tricks on his own.
I can't believe some of the chances he sort of squandered in the end. So, yeah, I mean, Lee mentioned Elafi there. I mean, that's the sort of quality of player we're coming up against. You know, he's on loan from Millwall. He's apparently getting rave reviews at Sutton, and we saw that on Saturday, the difference. But Lee, in last week's podcast, mentioned the quality of players they've got there. But Buterman, you know, Ben Wyatt, brilliant players there. It's always going to be tough, but we gave a really good account of ourselves. And Ian Allenson in his post-match was quite, I don't know, I think he was a little bit disappointed with the way that they conceded the 2 goals in the end. But I think he will have still taken a lot of positives from the game.
Jake, sorry, mate. Can I say that he did single out a little bit Johnson in the goal for the 2 goals, but I mean, listen, the fact of the matter is that fella has saved us so many points over the course of a season, and Johnson himself will probably look back on that and think, I could have done better. But you know, to put it solely on his shoulders is probably a little bit harsh, maybe.
I think it is, especially Johnson made a really good save really early on against Buterman as well, which, I mean, I had no idea he tipped it over on the live stream. I was like, oh, he's missed that. And it was a superb save, actually, from Johnson. So, you know, he's made some brilliant stops. And we saw in the FA Cup game at Stortford how big a loss he is when he's not in the side. So he has been absolutely central to our performances so far. And I think he deserves a lot of credit. And I think he's been one of our outstanding performers so far.
You mentioned another one of our old boys there, Ben Wyatt at left back for Sutton. He hardly put a foot wrong, did he?
No, he didn't do much, but he got turned inside out by Akinola in the last 5 minutes. So, but, you know, Ben Wyatt, that's the sort of performances he had for us. He was never outstanding, but he was consistent and he was just there every day performing to his maximum, which is why he was such a popular figure at Clarence Park.
Of course, that time when Romeo Akinola went past him, what did he do afterwards? He put his cross straight into the Hatfield Road terrace. You've got to be better quality than that if you want to make it at this level, really. But I agree with you two. Hold our heads high. It was the right result. No complaints. No more cups to go for, so we can use that dear old phrase, can't we? Concentrate on the league.
Easy. At least we haven't got any of those county cups this season.
Now, would you like to have had an extended run of a trophy, or quite happy to sacrifice it for what we've got on?
I mean, from my perspective, I've never seen us have a trophy run before. Unlike you boys, you know, I've never experienced.
You know why, mate?
That.
That's because you're brand new. That's why.
Brand new? I'm not sure about that.
A trophy run is amazing because the cup thing, you don't really get that sort of expectation. But the trophy, the further you progress in it, you know, there's a little bit of like aspirational sort of thinking creeping into your psyche there. Tabs will sort of tell you as well. When we got to the semi-final, 99, it was absolutely amazing scenes. Hashtag scenes, as our friend Ian Hall would sort of say. But I think it can help prolong a league season as well, because you get players in form who Tabs, if you remember, in the semi-finals, we had Andy Lomas in goal when Paul Newell was actually our first choice keeper. So it brings into the equation a whole realm of squad players that we can use throughout. I would have loved to have seen us progress, obviously, but it just wasn't to be this time around.
No, Paul Newell, Tubbsy, goalkeeper sent off 3 times in one season.
What a player.
I never saw him. But what an understudy to have, Andy Lomas, the cat.
Of course, the cat, yes. Yeah.
And if you want to read about that run to the FA Trophy semi-final, it is on the saintsstatistics.com website, and it's all about it match by match there.
How much has a Webbo paid you to say that?
Not enough.
Right. Well, that's Sutton dusted and out of the way. A 6th straight win against us, so we knew which way it was going to go, didn't we? Jake, you've been busy today. We've had 2 new signings today. Run us through them.
Yeah, the first is Ricky Shakes. I think it's fair we can call him experienced. Wide man, ex-Boreham Wood. Signed yesterday, I think. Was with Boreham Wood under Ian, helped them get promoted, and has been there ever since, and I think left during the COVID lockdown. So, I mean, I don't know what to make of him. You don't hear of many 35-year-old wingers. And the second one is Jordan Kanoshi from Wellingarden City. And apparently he was absolutely fantastic in their game against Aldershot Town on Saturday in the trophy. And Nilt Metcalf is absolutely buzzing about that signing. He really highly rates him, and we have to trust Neil sometimes. So, but apparently he's... When? Well, it's the time for miracles.
He gets very excited, doesn't he? He gets very excited about the littlest things. Yeah. But please progress.
By all accounts, he's done very well at Wellingarden City, and I think it's nice for us to take a punt on a younger player from the division below. Of course, Ian has had success with a couple of them this season. And also notable, of course, it's on dual registration as well because the Southern League isn't playing. So it'd be interesting. I mean, it's in Jordan's interest to play to his best because he wants to stay here. He doesn't want to go back to the Southern League. So on the face of it, two pretty good signings, I'd say.
He's 24 years old. Came back to this country last summer after 6 years in America, playing football out there as well and whatnot on the college circuit. So he's going to be pretty fit, you would imagine, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we know the Southern League isn't exactly the easiest division in the league. We know that ourselves. So, I'm sure he's been biding his time. And by all accounts, Ian Allinson is very exciting. Apparently, he's got a lot of pace, which I think will suit the team because we've got quite a bit of speed in the team so far this season. Right,
Ricky Shakes, well over 200 games for Boreham Wood, wasn't he? As you say, he's there under Ian Allinson and a long time together. An international for Trinidad and Tobago and also for Guyana. That's not bad. 2 countries, 3 names. Yeah, you wonder, Ian's brought in 2 potential wingers forwards. Any significance in that?
I mean, I think it's got to be down. Sorry, Jake. Sorry,
no, you go ahead, mate.
I just think it's got to be down to sort of strength in depth, surely. Ricky Shakes, I would have loved this signing 5 years ago, if I'm honest. I don't think his calibre can be really questioned, but he'll definitely bring a quality to the side. Kanoshi, when you play youth football for Spurs and Luton, you've got a certain calibre about you and a certain promise. But how many sort of times have we, picking up something on what Jake said there, how many sort of times have we seen potential promising young players come through from the lower leagues and falter just because it's just been that one step too much? But I think the fact of the matter is he's played so well recently against higher opposition. He's going to bode him well. But I think he's earned his opportunity here. Shakes, we know what he's going to bring to the table. He's going to bring that experience. As you said there, Jake, 35-year-old wingers, I'm not entirely sure he's going to be blessed with the sort of pace he was 5-6 years ago, maybe. But when we are not in games and we're backs against the sort of wall, maybe his experience can sort of come up to the front there, mate.
I suppose.
Exactly. It could be another David Noble, couldn't it? He doesn't run around like a spring chicken anymore, but get him on the ball and he could just spray it around. Maybe it's the same with Ricky Shakes.
I suppose as well with Shakes it's someone that knows the division and how to win it. A bit like Kyra and Wiltshire, and I think we've seen that little bit of experience with what he got at Maidenhead a few years ago. It was a little while ago now with Kyran, but he's clearly showing that. And I think it could be the same with Ricky Shakes. And also with Ian, Ian knows him really well. It's a player he can rely upon. And in those tough games, those tricky situations, and also it's just another experienced head. You're bringing in someone in Jordan who's not very experienced at this level. He's probably a bit of a, not necessarily a wild card, but, he's going to be exciting and, want to go forward all the time. Whereas Ricky is someone that's just going to want to get his foot on the ball and just control the game. And, it's going to be valuable having an experienced player because when you look at other sides that are competing for the title, the likes of Havant, Edfleet, not necessarily at the moment, but the teams that normally were favourites before the season started, they've got some, the likes of Poku, etc. And I think it's going to really help a squad, quite a young squad, that is going to have another experienced head in it.
Right, we're recording this on Wednesday, the 23rd of December, and we've got a couple of games coming up this weekend. On Boxing Day, Saturday, we're at home to Hemel Hempstead, apparently. Who wants to go first on that one?
Well, I think we all know how it's going to go, don't we?
Everything about this game should shout that we're going to absolutely annihilate them, right? But their away form is fantastic. Put them at home and they absolutely capitulate. I don't get them. I mean, they're Hemel, so I don't get them regardless. But it's Hemel. Their form is just erratic, to say the very, very least. That said,
Dave's one friend is calling him.
Oh, it's your agent, Jake. Hollywood. Oh no, sorry, Cricklewood.
Hang on, he's Ricky Shakes and he's not happy with you, mate. I tell you.
Probably the media manager telling me I'm banned from the next M&E game. Sorry, talking about Hemel, Jake.
I don't know. I mean, you would like to sort of think the players we've got. Turn it off, Tabs. You like to sort of think that we've got enough at home on Boxing Day, player for player, 3 points. But as you sort of say, their away form is absolutely fantastic. So it would be so St Albans, wouldn't it, for them to sort of turn up and maybe get something out of the game.
Well, it's funny, but we all know about their away form. They won their last 5 away league games. They did it with 10 men. That's just showing off, isn't it? And Hampton as well. And Bath City. I know Bath was slow to get going, but still a good win down at Twerton Park. But you come more up to date. They haven't scored in their last 3 games. Their last 2 games have both been in the trophy. 0-0 away to Corinthian Casuals, and Tuesday night, 2-0 defeat at Bromley. So
see, that's the Hemel we love and know, Tabs, isn't it? That's
right,
the Hemel we love and know.
As good as it was.
Hello, boys. How you doing?
Yeah,
I'm a bit disappointed you two are wearing red and white, and you believe.
That's a good point.
That's because you're a miserable sod, Tabs. That's probably what it is, mate, if I'm honest with you.
Oh, humbug.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Hemel are going to be up for it. We're going to be up for it. But Hemel do go into the game, like Dave said, on the back of a 2-0 defeat last night, in which a former Saint, Harry Forster, got both goals. So it's good to see him doing the business for the Saints. But it's going to be interesting for Hemel because they're going into the game, I presume, without a training session, given the way the week is falling. So it's, but with derbies, it's always difficult. I mean, the last few years we've seen the Saints come out on top at Clarence Park and then
get off the fence, Ellacott. What are you doing, mate?
And then the reversal at Vauxhall Road. But given the form of Hemel, I wonder if we might say draw on Boxing Day, but then win quite convincingly down at their place. So,
well, you're on Radio Verulam on Tuesday night, Jake. So was I. You were talking about current things. I was doing historical things, trying to keep everybody awake after you've been on. It was hard work, believe me. And I think you went for a home win on Saturday and a draw in the return match at Vauxhall Road.
I did, yes. I think I said 2-1 Saints on Boxing Day. So
2-1.
Yeah. So, yeah, it'd be interesting. But, I mean, we go into it so full of confidence. You've got to just expect the Saints to be turning out, Of course, no crowds there at all, which is going to be a huge... Well, it could be a factor. But I think the Saints go there, going to Boxing Day thinking, we can get 2-3 goals here in the first half. They've got to be confident.
Good to see Dean Snedker again, Lee.
Who?
Yeah.
That's football. That's football. No, listen, he's one of them now, mate. As far as I'm concerned, listen, Dino was a fantastic servant for us. He was, but, we've got Johnson in goal now. He's the one doing the business. And for me, Johnson has been the most complete goalkeeper we've had for many a season, if I'm honest. Dino, great to sort of see him again, but, he's one of them now.
They got another one of them over there as well, Josh Oyinson. Another City legend.
Didn't he come on and miss a penalty in his first game for us?
He did, didn't he? He was determined to take it, pushed everybody else aside, and I don't think it's even reached the goal line yet, has it?
He wasn't the most outstanding player, has to be said.
I can't tell you what the Welling United guy said to me when we signed him from them, but...
I think you should, Tabs, if I'm being honest with you, mate.
Yeah, I won't be here for the New Year Day game, if that's the case. He didn't quite set the world alight at Welling or St Albans and the multitude of clubs he's been with since, but... It's local derby, isn't it? So we know what's going to happen.
Yeah, Josh Oyinson hat-trick. There we go, everyone.
Muck up your 2-1.
Yeah.
And on the 28th of December, Slough Town away. Slough still haven't kicked off as well as one expected them to. And this week I see they've lost midfielder Matt Lynch, who's joined Wealdstone.
Yes, they have. And also one of their joint managers has had to sort of step aside to go care for his dad up in Norfolk, who is receiving medical treatment. So they've only got, it's quite a strong joint management team they've got there that's helped them get promoted. So be interested to see how that affects them. But they've had such a poor start to the season after getting into the playoffs. I don't think their supporters or players would have expected that at all.
No. And also, they've only played, 10 games? Yeah, 10 league games they've played. Haven't won any of the last 6 of them. And also went out with a trophy in that time as well. On Boxing Day, we're away to Oxford City. They've actually got a tough run. They got Oxford City twice. They got us. They come off the back of that draw away to Hampton Waterlooville, which isn't too bad. Hampton, but they got to start picking up points soon.
Absolutely, and of course we've got to factor into all this the ongoing COVID situation. Games seem to be falling by the wayside, left, right, and centre at the minute. And the fact is, we don't know if in a day's time whether we'll be playing Slough, whether they've got cases, whether we've got cases. We don't know what's going to happen at the minute, especially with Tier 4. So it really is sort of, it feels like almost every game at the minute is a cup derby because you don't know if you're going to be playing for the next 2 weeks.
Thank you, Doctor. Did you go to Arbor Park last couple of seasons, Lee? Have you been there?
A couple of years ago, yeah.
What do you make of it?
I think, yeah, pretty soulless stuff, isn't it? You know, it wasn't the Slough of old. You know, you and I used to sort of go. Graham Roberts was in charge, and it was the old sort of days and stuff. But I think they were a dark horse for me at the start of the season before any football got sort of played. But they've had a torrid sort of run of sort of form. Lynch is a massive loss for them. I expect us to sort of go there and get a win. If I'm honest, they are a team in turmoil. We are a team on the up, and I can see nothing other than a City win.
All right, okay, I shan't bother going then, because you already told us the outcome. You look at our away form. We still only what is it, one away goal in this season in the league? It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is incredible, but you know the fact of the matter is that they've still got to keep them out, and they haven't been doing that. You know, and the fact of the matter is, mate, is that I think our players are better, and we're a better side. I think we're better organised away from home as well. If you look at our away performances, Ian's got them set up relatively resiliently. We do hit teams on the break, but we've got the players to sort of implement that. And it's a perfect sort of strategy. And I haven't seen a team yet that have really kept us at bay for the whole 90 minutes. And I do see us going there and getting something positive.
Well, can't argue with that. So we'll still be top going into the new year. But it's funny, looking at the clubs who are chasing us. Is it Dartford or Dorking? They've hardly got a game coming up because of a COVID situation. Dorking, 3 weeks without a game in the league between the 5th and 26th. And Dartford, it's even worse, between the 5th of December and the 2nd of January. So they're going to have a bit of catching up to do.
Yeah, absolutely. This whole season feels just very disjointed, doesn't it, at the moment? You know, so you just wonder what's going to happen. I know, I mean, if we talk about the COVID situation quickly, I know there's a lot of rumours and whispers at the moment I've read online that, you know, is the league thinking about a temporary pause? We don't know what's going on there. I mean, that was the latest chat on the Conference South forum that I've seen, because so many areas in the South are now Tier 4. So we just don't know what's going to happen around the corner.
Yeah, makes a change from the websites you normally go on. Right, as we enter Christmas, New Year, should we reflect on Snowden City's players and who has surprised you so far this season?
Go on, Lee.
For me, probably Mitchell Weiss, if I'm honest. You know, he come from a league below. Yes, he played for Hemel in the past, but coming from a league below, we've seen these sort of players come up before where he's just sort of chasing a pound note. But I think for Weiss, there's something a little bit more there. There's actually that sort of genuine urge to better himself and to become a better sort of player. I think his class has been emphasised in the performances of late, and his desire to play at this level. I don't think his calibre was really questioned beforehand, but when you come into a new team and hit the ground running this early with this much impact, I've been really, really impressed. But also, Solomon, you know, he's had injuries galore. He's been in and out of the sort of side, and he could have just faded away. But he's now come back up to the fore. And for me, he's probably our best midfielder, if I'm honest, our most complete all-round midfielder. So between Weiss and Solomon Abuki, I think those two have been fantastic for us.
Jake?
I mean, there's quite a few in my head. I mean, one I'd say that has been relatively unsung so far this season is actually Joy Mckenna at the back. You know, he's partnered a couple of different people at centre half, but Joy, he's come in again from a Divisional 2 below. he's actually looked very good, and he's very good on the ball. I mean, Dave, we first saw him in pre-season, didn't we? And we didn't have the brightest opinions on him because he just didn't really display much. But he's come into the league and he's looked absolutely brilliant at the back. I mean, it helps, I think, the whole back four when they've got Michael Johnson behind him. But it's got to be Joy Mckenna up there with me, or for me, sorry. And also Michael Clark. I know we keep praising him, but that man is just, the turnaround is unbelievable. I cannot believe he started the season on the bench. He's come in and he just looks unbelievable.
But we keep praising him though, Jake, because last year he was the fall guy, wasn't he? I know that you and I both absolutely tore him apart, and he was almost the butt of our jokes in a nice way. But the fact, as you sort of say, the transformation into the player that he's become has been sensational.
It's funny, isn't it? Last Saturday in the first half, I thought, oh no, this is Clarkie of last season. Second half, he turned it around and he did really well in that second half. So his mind is fine. He can concentrate and he can put it right. So he's one, and one everybody keeps picking up on, of course, is James Kanoshi.
Yeah.
What a terrific first half of the season. First half, we've only had a quarter. First quarter of a season, he's had.
I guess it's similar to Clark. You cannot believe it's the same player and he's in the same defence, can you? It's just unbelievable. So, you know, but fair play to them, and a fair play, I think, to the coaching staff as well. I think you've seen the impact of the extended summer. The coaching staff have had the chance to work with them and drill into them what they expect.
Right.
But also, I think, sorry, Tabs. I just think it's the fact of the matter is that they're now getting a extended run into the side. If they last season, I think Ian was quite quick to sort of chop and change the side. If Clark or Kolotsky had a really bad performance, they'd be out of the side straight away. Now they're getting a chance to redeem themselves almost. And the fact of the matter is that Clark and Kolotsky, between them, have been putting in some fantastic performances of late. And they've warranted that extended run and that chance as well to really establish themselves in the side.
What do you remember when Michael Clark first joined us? He was getting booked every week. And gradually he's taken that out of his game, and that's maybe helping him look a better player. You're not on edge all the time, or am I going to get a second booking or whatnot?
But I think that was just purely down to the fact that he was eager to impress Tabs. You know, we've seen this before. How many times have you and I, between us, seen young, centre backs come in enthusiastic? Don't forget that Gary Elphick was exactly the sort of same. And what a player he sort of turned out to be. He was coming in, he was tearing people's heads off after like the first 20 minutes. But he turned out to be one of the best City centre halves of the entire time. You know, these players, they do that, especially centre half as well. You do get exposed, and you are in the headlights. You know, it's a very confrontational position. You know, we can all go hide out at right back or hide out on the wing in terms of that necessity. But Clark and Kolotsky have been fantastic this season, and they've both put their bodies on the line for the cause. And I do believe that they are now proving to be one of the first names on the team sheet for Ian Allington.
Has there been an opposition team or player in particular that's caught either of your eyes this season?
For me, it would actually be Hungerford Town. The way they pressed against us, the way they pushed us back, I think was definitely the toughest challenge we've had this season in the league anyway. And they really impressed me. And obviously they're falling away a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but there's a couple of players in that side that I would definitely want in our squad anyway. And, you know, especially as well for Hungerford, a bit like us, consider the turnaround from last season, languishing in the bottom 4 or 5 all season with us, you know. And the style of football last season, again, both sides was so, awful. And now this season, the Saints and Hungerford playing some brilliant stuff.
It's funny, isn't it? After they drew with us, and I agree, they were the most impressive side I think I've seen. They lost the next 3 league games, and then they beat somebody, Hemel something? I don't know.
For me, sorry, go on.
No, you go in there, like.
I was just going to sort of say Hungerford were the obvious sort of choice there, but I also thought from a personal performance, Darren Foxley for Stortford in the cup, he had a massive, massive chip on his shoulder. You know, I'm not saying that he turned the game single-handedly, but you can see that he was well up for it. his performance alone did contribute massively to us getting exited out of the cup. You knew, for me, I know we spoke about this in the past, but I think Ian got rid of him a little bit too soon. I don't know whether there was a falling out, but he didn't really get a real chance at City. And you can see for Stortford against us live on national TV, he really did step up, and I think he caused us all sorts of problems. But that was purely because he had a massive chip on his shoulder and he wanted to prove Ian wrong. So for me, his performance alone was the most impressive that I've seen this season.
The other team that I was really impressed with the way they played football was Mickelova. They did pass it around really nicely. They didn't hurt us that much, but they played it well. And they've also got the one player I want to pick out. All right, he's an ex-Football League player. He was, what, 34, something like that, 32. Kenny Augustine. He was terrific on the night. I know he missed a penalty in the penalty shootout, but really enjoyed watching him. And you can watch players like that all day, can't you? And enjoy it.
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job in midfield, and Mickelova, they were unlucky that evening, but thankfully for us, Michael Johnson was the hero.
Right, Christmas is coming up, so they tell us, and judging by the things you got on your head. Any Christmas memories, Lee?
Christmas memories. I have to say, no, I think it was 92. Going back, we played Stevenage Borough in the Hearts Senior Cup. We won 1-0. I think that's what it was. But that was always a memory. That was my first thing of watching City at around Christmas sort of time. Beating Stevenage, half decent game. But other than that, a few years ago we played Wildstone away around Christmas time. And we won 3-1. I think Reece Morrell-Williamson and Zane Banton were absolutely exceptional. I remember reading the Wildstone preview online earlier, and also in the programme, where Nick Archer, God bless you, Nick, you predicted a quite heavy defeat for City. And we turned up and we turned you over. And so that train journey back was very, very delightful. I did text Nick, but he didn't get back to me on the train journey back. But funny how that does sort of work. But yeah, the Stevenage Borough and the Wildstone away game was absolutely fantastic for me.
Yeah, that Stevenage game, 22nd of December, 92, Hearts Charity Cup semi-final. Some bloke called Martin Gurney. Hello, Gurns.
What a legend. The hair, the kit, God bless him.
Hair. Yes, indeed. Jake?
A more recent, well, two for me. I think the first one's probably
recent for you. You haven't been watching one.
Hey,
I was waiting for that.
Stevenage away in the conference season. I think, was it 2-0 in the end, or was it 2-1? I was so young back then, but it was
2-1.
Yeah, but it was a great day out, and I believe the video.
The end of January, wasn't it?
Was it? I thought it was around Christmas.
No, they did us down the park on at Christmas.
Oh damn!
Elliot Benyon, is that right? Elliot Benyon. I don't know, but I think that's
my other one. Is
the home game was Boxing Day, and the away game was 23rd of January.
Well, I must be thinking of the home one then. But yeah, to be facing Stevenage over Christmas on Boxing Day in the Conference National just felt like we've made it. We are here. We're here at the pinnacle. So yeah, and the other one.
Jake. Home game. Can you remember?
No.
2,878.
2,800. Wow, blimey heck, not bad.
Those.
And then the other one is David Moyo at Clarence Park, 2 goals against Hemel on Boxing Day. And he sent the Hemel fans into absolute outrage. He'd been getting absolute pelters from the Hemel fans during the warm-ups because the Saints warm up down that end. And the abuse he got, and he was absolutely loving it. There was no love lost between him and the Hemel fans. I think they all fell out over his departure. And to see him get 2 goals on the day was absolutely superb. And to see those Hemel fans away to the right, away in the away end, just so angry, was brilliant.
1,486 that day, 2-1.
Hey.
Bosh.
Pretty good, isn't it?
Oh, dear me. And
I've got a couple of Christmas memories. One of a game where we couldn't actually get there.
1923. We had 13 throw-ins.
You know it, Lee. You know it.
Sorry.
Wickham Floodlit Cup final, 1970.
Of course.
I was going with the neighbours. Roger Peacock was driving. I assume his sister Jean went. Michael and Rosemary Lee from next door as well. The snow was everywhere. It was way up there, halfway up the floodlight pylons. Twice we broke down on the way there because of the snow. We had to give up in the end, couldn't get there. The team, we had to play Sid Prosser, the manager, play because we were so short. We were 6-0 up from the first leg in this final. We wanted to just get them to give us a cup. They said no. They said we'd play 30 minutes each way. They were 3-1 up at one stage, so they made it 35, and they thought they got a chance, and it ended up 3-3. Why? How it went ahead, goodness knows. Anyway, that's another cup we won. Another one, a little bit more recent, but it's before both of you were going again. Late 80s, away to Yeovil. Crowd of over 6,000. Some of them were Yeovil supporters. It was a record attendance at that ground, but it's one of the most boring 0-0 draws you'll ever see. But the reason why it's such a big crowd, they were giving out vouchers for the following week. They were playing Queen's Park Rangers in the third round of the FA Cup. And why what clubs want to go that far in the FA Cup and muck up their league campaign is beyond me. But that was quite an occasion. 6,000 and I think 5,000 were snoring by full time.
Could I ask you, fellas, is the fact that we're now playing Hemel on Boxing Day and New, is there a little bit of a desire to sort of spice it up a little bit and maybe move Hemel towards the opening day of the season or later on? Or is it just the fact of the matter is it's just easy and it's police regulation? Or is it just, is that what the fans now want? You want to see the derby days over the course of Christmas? We don't want to sort of see I know, Tabs, you and I used to enjoy the Enfield games, maybe even a Hendon or whatever, but surely, is it not a bit repetitive now? Can we not sort of maybe, would you like to sort of see any other team at home for us?
You want a big gate, Lee, and you look round, and where else are you going to get a big gate over Christmas other than your next door neighbours? Oh,
it's a valid point. But I'm just sort of saying, the fact that you've almost sort of, when the fixtures do come out, it's going to be Hemel, Boxing Day, and anywhere near the New Year's Day. I just wondered whether it was a case of you wanted to sort of see something else. That was all.
I mean, just noticed 6 points.
I have to say, from a fan perspective, it is getting a little tedious playing them consistently over Christmas. I mean, from my own personal perspective, it's always quite handy going to Vauxhall Road on New Year's Day because I'm always horrifically hungover, as Dave will often know. So it's always a nice little simple journey for me. But it would be nice.
To you, mate, you smelt horrendous last time.
1 year, Lee, he had us going up Langley Crescent. He'd been to a party there, and he dropped his phone walking home.
Mate, I'm telling you. He smells horrendous at the sort of best of times, but on New Year's Day as well, with that beard, he just looked like a random fella just walking the streets of Hemel. I mean, there's a few of those floating around, granted, but he looked even particularly special. But we love you. We love you, Jacob. We love you.
I was going to add that obviously the Southern League promotion season, it was actually quite nice playing Hemel towards the end of it, over around the Easter bank holiday, going to their place. There wasn't an awful amount on the game because Hemel had pretty much secured the title by then, but it was still nice to go down there, have a competitive game. And I remember off the field it being a little bit spicy. So I think it'd be nice to have some extra spicy.
That poor girl who decided, you know what, I'm going to get married. I had my reception at Hemel Hempstead Clubhouse. So they've moved all of the random tables and chairs out of the clubhouse onto the side of the terrace, which has provided absolutely fantastic ammo for the Luton, Millwall and QPR boys who were sitting there waiting to lob stuff at us. What a good day that was. Massive, massive kudos for that.
You'd much rather have the money at Aldershot, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, all £3.20 of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Money over patio furniture. Good to know, boys.
Well, it wasn't patio furniture. This was solid wood stuff, man. This is proper MDF stuff.
That is a proper Dave Boggins pub sort of furniture.
Right. Before Jake starts hitting the heavy stuff, do you want to do some predictions?
Boxing Day, I'll say 2-1 Saints.
Yeah, you did last night.
And I will go 3-0 at Slough to the Saints.
I'm going to go, well, quite easily, Dave. I'm going to go 3-0 at home. If they get a shot on goal, I'll be impressed. Slough away. I'm looking. Well, listen. Let's not say a shot. Let's say a throw in. Anywhere near our half, that'd be great. Slough. They might give us a little bit of a game of it. Maybe 2-1. Yeah, let's go sort of 2-1. Slough away to Slough.
Well, Hemel, because rivalry's only really been since about 2011-12 when we started playing each other regularly in the league. It was all pretty much minor cup ties up until then, apart from when we did play them once in the league, or twice, I should say, in 83-84 when we did the double over them. But it's been 16 league games since 2011. We've only won 2 of them, but 10 draws and 4 wins for Hemel. So they've got the upper hand. And we have got a habit of having players sent off. We've had 3 sent off in that time.
Well, I mean,
records are there to be broken, David.
Exactly. I'm convinced we're doing the double.
You don't look you don't look sort of too convinced there, Jake. To be honest with you, mate. I know you got your sort of friends in like the Hemel camp, mate. But have you got any sort of phone calls or texts giving you some jibs?
No, not yet, but I'm sure I will.
Can he use a phone, your friend, or does he can he work that sort of technology?
I believe they do have phones now in Hemel. I think that was quite a recent development.
You don't need Hemel to give him jib, Lee. Can't we do it?
Yeah, but we give him enough though, Tabs. Just share the love, mate. Share the love.
It's nice to get it from someone that isn't you two, really.
Hey, you'd miss it if it wasn't coming, mate. I tell you.
Exactly.
How long we got left, Jake?
I don't know, but
too long.
I think we've reached the end of our menu, haven't we?
Yeah, we've reached the end of the menu, but if we've got time, we can invent something.
Oh no, we have to say happy birthday again to Lee, of course.
Happy birthday, Lee!
I think he's been
You
on the
didn't say
red.
it the first time around, mate.
He's been on the red wine since about 12 o'clock. So,
Is it the big one next year? Is it 30?
That's right, mate. Yeah, exactly that. Bless you, David. Bless you, child. Thank you.
Well, I suppose we have to say Merry Christmas to all our viewers as well. From the Grinch, that is Dave. I think we can all share that we didn't expect the return of the podcast to go so brilliantly as it has on YouTube. So I think we can only say thank you to everyone for watching once again.
I can say though, Jake, that not everyone's entirely pleased with it, mate. I have to say, but we live and we love, mate, don't we? We're spreading the love.
Here we do. It's a time for love and caring, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, and if you do want to get in touch with the podcast, feel free to send us an email. If it's abusive, address it to Jake. If it's nice, send it to me or Lee.
And on that very positive note, thank you for everyone joining us again, and we will speak to you soon. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.